News when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Amy Morris. And there's your closing bell for this Thursday on Wall Street. Traders facing slowing economic data and some legal uncertainties around President Trump's trade war. And of course, we bring you the closing numbers each day here at Bloomberg. The S&P 500 gained 24 points. NASDAQ gained 75 points. The Dow gained 117 points. The 10-year Treasury yield at 4.43%. The 2-year yield at 3.94%. A federal appeals court temporarily paused a ruling against President Trump's global tariffs while weighing a longer-lasting hold. Bloomberg's Eric Larson.
The Trump administration, the Justice Department, filed a request for this longer-lasting stay and an administrative stay, saying that it was urgent, that they needed this trade court's order to be put on hold, or the government and the Trump administration would face irreparable harm to his trade negotiations, to national security, you name it.
The Federal Circuit did not say how long its order would last, but it laid out a briefing schedule that runs through June 9th. Former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers spoke with Columbia University's former dean, Glenn Hubbard, about the mentality that Trump will back down from the tariffs.
In some sense, the taco mentality is a little bit encouraging in suggesting that we may have some sweaty palms and there may be some real issues, but that if major problems start to emerge, then actions will be taken.
Former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers at the Economic Club of New York. Chicago Fed President Austin Goolsbee says a resolution in trade policy could push the U.S. economy back toward its pre-tariff trajectory, allowing officials to lower interest rates. The U.S. is currently facing higher prices alongside a cooling labor market, which Goolsbee describes as a stagflationary direction. Meanwhile, Hyundai is preparing to increase the price of all of its U.S. vehicles by 1% to cushion the blow from the tariffs. The move would add several $100s to each vehicle. That makes it one of the most sweeping actions taken by an automaker in response to the Trump tariffs. Taiwan also continuing its efforts to secure a trade deal with the U.S. In an exclusive interview with Bloomberg's Yvonne Mann, Taiwanese Deputy Foreign Minister Chang Min-chi stated that Taiwan aims to develop a deal that would be mutually beneficial.
If there is a global tax tariff of 10%, then Taiwan should be at least as good as other countries. Okay. We are among the first to have a genuine discussion with the U.S. on how to iron out our difference.
Chen emphasized the ongoing talks with the U.S. don't involve any foreign exchange issues. Fed Chair Chair Powell met with President Trump today at the White House. Bloomberg's Tyler Kendall.
The Federal Reserve has confirmed that this was on President Trump's invitation, that the Fed Chair Jerome Powell came here to the White House today, and they said that they did not discuss expectations for monetary policy and that any future path of policy is going to be data dependent, as we often hear from the Fed Chair.
The White House says Trump told Powell the Fed is making a mistake on the rate call. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt.
The president did say that he believes the Fed chair is making a mistake by not lowering interest rates, which is putting us at an economic disadvantage to China and other countries. And the president's been very vocal about that, both publicly and now I can reveal privately as well.
This is their first such meeting since President Trump began his second term. A federal judge weighing Harvard University's lawsuit challenging the Trump administration's ban on enrolling international students says she's expanding a temporary block of its enforcement. During today's hearing in Boston, District Judge Allison Burroughs said she plans to issue a longer-term injunction in the case. And Harvard University held its graduation ceremonies today. University President Alan Garber emphasized the school's international reach.
Members of the class of 2025 from down the street, across the country, and around the world. Around the world, just as it should be.
Well, that prompted a long ovation as the fight over the government's effort to ban foreign enrollments continues. A bit of improvement in the latest reading on the U.S. economy as a whole. Bloomberg's Michael McKee has the revised GDP number for the first quarter.
It fell by 0.2% in the first quarter. That's a little bit better than the 0.3 that had been forecast. However, consumer spending much weaker. It was only up 1.2%, was 1.8% in the initial release.
Bloomberg's Mike McKee says the final reading on first quarter GDP comes out next month. That's news when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Amy Morris. This is Bloomberg.